that's got plenty of lift. Just like that, we're up in the air. That's all I need for today because I'm going to loop the chain. How about that though?
Hello and welcome to, well, Carlin's Worlds. Yeah, that should work. I'm a wanderer, a tinkerer, sometimes a nomad, a military veteran. I do things differently. There will be tinkering. I have a motorcycle, a truck, and a school bus. I live off-grid, so there will be some solar, batteries, inverters, and maybe even some wind. It blows. And that's all I can fit into about 30 seconds. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Cool. On with the show already.
Well, say this is a freebie. When's the last time you looked at your air cleaner, right? Get out of my own shadow here. That can't be doing any good. This is a 2007. It's got 20,000 miles on it now. It's about shot. Also, this is Texas, 110 degrees out here in the desert, so yeah. I do remember last time I put this in, it was oily, so I don't know where the oil went, but it ain't doing any good. So I replaced it with a K&N. I didn't do a video on that. Just kind of a heads up, something to look at. Also, while I'm thinking of it, also 20,000 miles, I just finally replaced the spark plug. I think this is still the original plug. It's all rusty. Relatively good color though. It's a little bit dark, but you know, it wasn't dripping with oil, so I call it good. It was running reasonably good still. So, just kind of a thing to look for there. If you don't remember the last time you changed your spark plug, it's probably time. I'll bet the book even says when you're supposed to do it. Probably at least once every 10 years though. This bike I bought used, and I've had it for 3 years now, I think. And I've put on probably 16 or 17,000 miles in 3 years versus the first guy that had it for 10 years or whatever, and you know, put 3,000 miles on it or something like that. So most of the miles and abuse have been mine. Something I've been doing lately, if I wanted to, for instance, lube the chain, I would grab the floor jack out of my truck. I used to be a mechanic, so I had things like floor jacks. I just bought one for my truck. And I'd chock the front wheel. I've got a chock that I'll show you in a minute. That holds the bike up for you. And then I'd throw the floor jack underneath the low point of the suspension and then just jack the bike up, and it would just be happy as can be there. That worked well, except the floor jack is in the truck, and so I have to open up the truck. Usually my spare tire, I got an extra, you know, a normal size real tire. I throw that behind the seat of the truck, and that sits on top of the jack, and then I run the passenger seat back and hold everything down. So it's just a matter of mucking around a little bit, you know, I gotta find the keys, unlock the truck, move the seat, get the tire out of the way, grab the jack, bring it over. And the jack's kind of a heavy thing. So I got to thinking about it. I used to have a motorcycle lift that I had bought, which was nice, and it was basically a scissor jack. And I'm like, well, duh, that was like 80 bucks or something retarded like that. I got this guy, scissor jack, eBay, I think $15. I bought two, it was so cheap. Not sure if that was necessary or not, but so it's brand new in the wrapper and everything. Oh man, how about that? They give you a pair of gloves. That's $15 right there. Comes with a nice handle. Crank it up. Bubble wrap to play with later when you're bored. And this thing is nice and small. So I'm just going to keep it close by. I'm not going to, you know, carry it on the bike necessarily, although it's light enough I could. I do remember that the scissor jack that I bought for the bike was really heavy, and this is nice and light. If I was going on another Alaska trip, I might look at where could I mount this and bring it with me. This makes almost more sense than the center stand, because when I had my bike on the Alaska trip fully loaded, I could not get the bike on the center stand. I had about 3/4 unloaded, because on the KLR, you really got to lift up on the bike to get it to roll back onto the stand. And with a load, I couldn't do it. You know, I'm sure some people could, but it's a bear. And the suspension works against you a lot. You're kind of lifting up, 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 and then you run out of suspension, and then you roll it back. Had I thought about this, I probably would have bought one of these years ago. It just occurred to me a couple weeks ago. Sad but true. So there we are. I'm going to set it up and see how it works. Here you can see the contraption I made to hold the front wheel. Ugly as sin, works. Now for today I'm just going to use this as it is, but I anticipate welding some kind of a bracket or adapter or something. The one thing I did like about the actual motorcycle lift that you could buy is it had two pads that would reach up and hit you in the frame somewhere. That would be kind of cool. Odds are I'll dig around in my scrap pile and come up with some piece of metal that I don't want to weld to that thing, so I'll probably just bolt it. This is made to go on the edge of your car, you know, where that seam is, kind of thing. And let's just try it the way it is first and see if it's even going to be high enough. Nice thing is we're lifting 400 pounds of motorcycle instead of, you know, 4,000 pounds of car. Granted, when you're doing this with your car, you wouldn't lift the whole car. You're doing one wheel at a time. So I'm just going to hit it right in the bottom of this. There's a kind of a bell crank that is part of the rear suspension. And the bike is somewhat supported by the front wheel. Nothing is really quite square and even here because I'm in the dirt. I'm just turning it by hand right now. There. Now I'll put this guy on there. One hand on the bike so it doesn't try to kill me. Yeah, now it's going to want to roll back. Alright, small adjustment. If you were doing this on your car, well, you'd have your parking brake set and everything, right? Yeah, it's got plenty of lift. Just like that, we're up in the air. That's all I need for today because I'm going to lube the chain. How about that though? That thing doesn't weigh hardly anything. What I would probably like to do, make a bigger base for it to make it a little more stable. That would be a matter of like a 2x6 and bolts probably, and then make some kind of a pad for the top. But I'm liking how this is working. This is remarkably simple. I like simple. Yeah, we're fighting a lot of shadow. Anyway, you get the idea. These are the links that go up to your swing arm and the bell crank. This is the bottom of where the shock would attach. Right there's the shock. So you get the idea. That's all there is to it, really. I'm just using it to lift the bike up. Now I got, basically, I mean, $15 jack versus, post in the comments if you've bought a center stand kit for a KLR recently. I think I paid 80 bucks for mine. And in a lot of ways, this is better. You know, and if you had cargo racks or side panniers or a cargo box on your bike and you were doing cross-country riding, this does not weigh very much. I mean, the bike isn't light anyway. Might be something to think about. Steal the one out of your girlfriend's car or something like that. She's never going to use it. Alright, now I'm going to lube my chain. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.
Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that should work. Cool. I do things differently. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. thank you so much for watching.